All right, well, welcome to another live broadcast. Tonight we're going to be talking stable love. Hey, Bobby, good to see you. How was your week? How was your weekend? Hopefully it was well. Hopefully you got some rest. Talking relationship responsibility, so it was good. My weekend was good. It was quiet, snowy here in Philly. Hey, Kimberly Rain. So kind of kept it quiet. Had a couple of events around the farm, and I rode a little bit. So that was good. Tried to do a couple little errands and things that I need to get done, but it was a pretty good weekend. So thanks for asking. So tonight we're going to. My kids were elves for a small Christmas event at church, so it kept us hopping. Yes, elves will keep you busy. They will definitely keep you busy. That's good though. Is it on? Hi, Mimi. Is it online by any chance? Is there a way to see that event? Nice to see you too. Um, so, all right, let's jump into tonight's topic. Don't want to keep you long, but want to talk about some relationship responsibilities. Bobby, please send me that. Send me a link for that. I would like to see it. So tonight we're going to talk about relationship responsibilities. As we've been talking in the last few weeks, we've been talking about. I'm trying to find something real quick to pull up. We've been talking about
Isaiah 7.
preparing for the new year, and in that preparation time. Hey, hey, Mary T, good to see you. Good to see you. So as we've been talking about this new year, I had to pull up the link on a uh, different phone here. Good to see everybody. Sorry, one second. It's not. I don't know what's going on. All right, there it is. All right, so now we're good. We're ready to rock and roll. Good to see everybody. Glad that you checked in. All right, so once again, let's get back to this. We're going relationship responsibilities, how to determine relationship responsibilities. And as we've been talking about, good evening, Jack, about moving into this new year, 2021. And not only for 2021, but for our lives moving forward, to be thinking strategically, to be putting ourselves in power positions, to be thinking as leaders, right? So we're going to begin thinking a specific kind of way. And I think one of the most important parts of strategizing success is accountability. One of the most important aspects is accountability, but the also another part of having success and moving forward and being successful in what we endeavor to do is taking responsibility and understanding responsibility. I think many of us, we go through our experiences of life, especially those experiences that may not initially seem to be positive, or they may have some negative ramifications or negative impact on our life. Something that we don't necessarily desire to have happen to us. Could be a situation of abuse or neglect or something harmful. We don't necessarily desire that. However, moving forward after the event, after the trauma has happened, there has to be someone that takes responsibility. And if we don't personally take responsibility, that means we are handing over an aspect of power to someone else. And so, with that, tonight, I just wanted to share just a brief thought as we get ready for this week and as we go through vision and how to prepare to implement vision, how to move into vision. I think responsibility is a big part of it. A lot of people set out to achieve something, especially going into New Year's. People set resolutions, and they have, that kind of mindset and approach. But without taking responsibility, a resolution will never be resolved. We have to be responsible for the resolution. We have to be the responsible party that solves the situation by taking on that responsibility. And so I just wanted to share a thought with you. I was thinking about in this time of the year, oftentimes on TV and commercials and around church environments, you hear particular scriptures and things like that getting quoted. And there's one that I wanted to share, comes from Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6. And also I'll leave it at verse 6. And it simply says this: For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. I'll read that again. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. You may have heard the story, about a young man named Jesus that was born. And this was in reference to him, talking about him. And I think for us as leaders, there's something that we get to pull out from this where we get to apply it to our own personal lives. It says, For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. Stop right there. That, I think, is a major key for all of us. The government shall be upon his shoulder. And I think we get to use this at various different levels when we start looking at responsibilities. Where does the governing power reside? How much responsibility is sitting on you? Have you ever heard it said like someone is shouldering the responsibility, or they have a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders? Well, that's that same type of thought, that when something is resting on your shoulders, that responsibility is being placed upon you. And so as we look at that, we look at responsibility and something that we are able to carry. The responsibility of our dreams, the responsibility of our visions, the responsibility of our relationships. There are aspects of those relationships, the things that we want to see done, they rest upon our shoulders. If we want it done, we don't necessarily get to outsource it to someone else because they may not be passionate about it. They may not see the vision. When you're starting off and you are looking at something that you want to achieve in your life, when you are looking at some changes that you want to make in your life, it's not something that you get to hand off to someone else. Well, perhaps if I had, a trainer in my life, they could make me do it. No. No. That's not how it works. A trainer doesn't get to make you do something. No one gets to make you do something. At a certain point, whatever you envision, whatever you see in your life, it needs to become important enough to you that you want to shoulder the responsibility. And so you start thinking about the responsibility of this vision, the responsibility of changing your life, the responsibility of getting in shape, the responsibility of restoring your marriage and your relationship. Hey, Mark, the responsibility of starting your business. It's on you. It's your vision. It's on you. And it's a good thing because you've dreamed it, you've seen it, and now the responsibility is on you to begin moving in it. And so when we look at the shoulders, our shoulders, being responsible, having the weight of responsibility resting on our shoulders, there's also something else that sits upon our shoulders. And I looked at this, scripture, I've looked at it many times, and I started thinking about it from a physical standpoint. We have our shoulders, but then we have our neck and we have our head. And so I thought about the responsibility that rests upon our shoulders, being strong enough to carry something. But then our neck is here upon our shoulders, resting upon our shoulders. And then our neck gives us our opportunities to look around. And so while we are moving forward in vision, while we are looking at our vision, our neck, it gives us some options. While you are having a vision, you have the power to look around. You have the opportunity to be distracted by things that are over there and things that are over there, but you also have the capability of being focused forward, focus on one particular area. Now, see, looking around does have its benefits though, because as you are looking around, that looking around also allows you to see how you can protect yourself, how you can protect your vision. It helps you to be vigilant, and as you're looking around, because that's some of the responsibility of having a vision. Yes, you focus. You focus on what you want to accomplish. You need to focus on what you want to manifest in life. But at the same time, you need the capabilities of being able to look around and protect, to look around to see what assets are available, to look around and see what threats may be lurking. You need to do that too. That's responsibilities that's on your shoulders. Power that comes right out of the neck. I also thought about the head. You know, the head sits upon the neck. And so we have this responsibility because inside the head, there are some very powerful aspects of our life. We have our mouth, we have our ears, we have our eyes, if we're just dealing superficially. We have our mind as well. And so you start thinking about, look at all these different aspects and parts, these different parts that have jobs. When you start looking at your vision, your mouth is very important because you get to speak your vision, you get to talk your vision, you get to articulate your vision, you get to convince even yourself as you speak from your mouth to your ears. You get to hear what's going on inside of you. You get to proclaim some things. You get to make dominant declarations. Your mouth has responsibilities, but you are responsible for your words. You're responsible for what words are spoken in your relationships. That's up to you. No one else gets to control what you say. That responsibility is on your shoulders. And if you want to manifest the vision that you say you want to manifest, then your words become very important because you can either speak life to your vision or you get to speak death to it. You get to speak words that keep you moving forward, or you get to speak words that destroy you. And see, it's very important what we say, what we choose to allow to flow out of our mouth. Your ears. Yeah, they're resting in relationship to your shoulders too. They're in your head, and so they're part of your head, and so that's all resting on your shoulders. You have responsibilities for what you hear, just like you have responsibilities for what you say. What you hear, what you allow into you, this is where you become that guard. This is where looking around becomes so important because now you're guarding. To be able to look around and you're guarding what you listen to. You're guarding what you allow into the gates of your ears. Don't listen to everything. Every conversation is not meant for you. It's not meant to be inside your soil environment for the vision that you're growing. Every conversation is not meant to be in that space. There are words, like I said, that if we're not guarding our words, or if we're not guarding what words we're listening to, there are words that will be harmful to you. There will be words that will send you back to a dark place that will cause you to stagnate your growth. Because you'll go back to a different place. You'll go back to a weakened place because those words that you're hearing, that you're rehearsing, they'll weaken you. They're not going to strengthen you. So you have to guard. The responsibility that's on your shoulders, the responsibility for guarding what you listen to is important. You get to listen. You get to choose. As we choose our words, we also get to choose what we hear. We get to choose what conversations, what people we're around, what we listen to. If you truly want to be powerful moving forward in life, if you become a guardian for what you say, become a guardian for what you hear, become a guardian for what you see. Vision. What are you looking at? What are you allowing into the gates of your eyes? What are you allowing through those portals into your life? Are you looking at things that are, again, promoting life, or are you looking at things that are tearing you down? See, your vision, the vision that you have for your life will be impacted by what you look at. If you look at and engage yourself and are always around people who don't have vision, it's going to be tough for you to grow a vision. It's going to be tough for you to see vision because you're around visionless people, blind, leading the blind. That's why it happens. A blind person with no vision. Spiritual, mental vision. A person with no mental vision can only lead someone to a ditch. They'll lead you into a pit because they have no vision. Without vision, people perish. People die without vision. Businesses die without vision. Families break apart without vision. Educational dreams, people, they die without vision. You are the visionary that's needed. So what you see is important. What are you looking at? You ever had somebody ask you that? Like, what are you looking at? Bad company corrupts good character all day. Why? Because we are the guardians of real soil. And so if we allow what we allow into our space, what we allow into our environment has to impact us. It happens everywhere else in nature. Everywhere else in nature, whatever is in the soil impacts whatever is trying to grow in the soil. Same thing. Your life, your conversations, your words, your visions, the things that you see, it's all a part of your soil. You want to protect your marriage from outside people. Start making sure that where you start making sure your focus is where you want it to be. Put your focus on your spouse. Like go to an extreme if you have to, and just listen. Honey, I need you to send me more pictures. I want to focus only on you. I don't want to be distracted by these outside people. I don't want the distraction. I want my focus to be on you. I want to be drawn to you. I want to be attracted to you. I want my focus on you. I don't want my vision being scattered here and there and everywhere. I don't want that. Your mind. The weight of responsibility that sits upon your shoulders, your mind, your mental, your thoughts. That's a part of your responsibilities too. See, all of this is sitting and resting on our shoulders. This is all on you. You don't get to outsource it. You don't get to blame someone else for these responsibilities. The responsibilities of what you think, it sits on your shoulders. You're responsible for cultivating a different mindset. You're responsible for what you learn. You're responsible for the information that you gather and how you begin to work with it and study it. You're responsible for your own studies. No one is forcing you into your vision. No one can make you do the vision that you say you have for your life. You want to be in shape? Okay. Study, learn, apply. You want healthy relationships? Study, learn, apply. Guard your words. Study, cultivate new words. Learn new conversations. Get around people whose conversation is healthy and start listening so that you can say, oh, you know what, I'm going to add some of that conversation into my life because I believe that would help me grow the relationships that I desire to have. It's on me. It's on all of us. When we say we want something, it's on us to be responsible for growing. Your growth is on you. The weight of governing is on your shoulders. You are the one. And so if it doesn't happen for you, if you don't move into the vision that you say that you have, if you don't guard your words, if you don't guard what you're looking at, if you don't guard what you're listening to, if you don't guard your mental state of being and put yourself in an environment where you are enriching yourself, you can't blame anyone else. If you are content with telling yourself that you are passive, that you are scared, that you are nervous all the time, that you've never achieved, if you're okay with having dialogue with yourself that allows you to get off the hook, that's on you. What things, think about it for a second. What things do you say to yourself, perhaps even in casual conversation, that you may not even really pick up on, that is allowing you to get off the hook? Like, oh, I'm just an introverted person, so I don't like to put myself around people. Okay. But if your vision is to do something in customer service, but you're saying, well, I'm just introverted and you're using that to allow yourself off the hook, that's no good. You have to get to a point where you say, I'm an introverted person, but I'm learning and growing and developing so that I can have myself in the situation that I want to be in. I can be in the environments that I want to be in. You can't downplay yourself and upgrade yourself at the same time. There's got to be a decision. There's either you're going to govern well and move yourself into that next level, or you are going to allow yourself to get off the hook. And the decision is fully yours. If you can go through this next year of life, knowing that right now in 2020, you have a vision for what you want to see happen, some of the things at least that you want to see happen in 2021. But if you do none of it because you've decided that you're going to let yourself off the hook, only you can be responsible for that. Only you. Because that's sitting on your responsibility, sitting on your shoulders. What do you want? What do you want in your life? What do you want in your romance? What do you want in your education? What do you want professionally? What do you want educationally? What do you want in your health and wellness? What do you want? Because when you decide what you want, then you are also deciding how you are going to govern. You're like, okay, I want that, then I'm going to govern a particular kind of way, and the responsibility rests upon my shoulders. It's a good thing because what it does is it puts us in a position of power, and we're built for that. You are built to be powerful. When you outsource your power to someone else, when you put the responsibility on someone else to do it, you're giving away power and now you're feeling less powerful. And that's going to cause you to malfunction because as you become less and less powerful, you really don't know what to do with yourself because you were actually designed to be powerful. So when you assign your power to someone else, when you give it away, you're putting yourself in a position where you are going to malfunction. And so it's not about you being a victim anymore. It's not about what someone else has done to you anymore. It's happened. We know that. Someone treated you bad. You might have treated yourself wrong. Someone overlooked you. Someone disrespected you. Someone hurt you. Someone abused you. It happened. And if you continue to blame that someone for what they did to you, right? If you continue to allow them to have that power based upon what they've done, even though it was a real and harmful thing, what you're doing is you are still allowing them to be powerful in your life right now, even though the incident is over. And if the incident is still happening, if the moments are still happening, it's time for you to take power back and say, I'm done with this. I'm done with you beating me up. I'm not meant to live as your punching bag. I'm done with this. It is time to make a dominant declaration. The government is going to be upon my shoulders. I'm taking responsibility of my words, of my actions, of my thoughts, what I see, what I hear, what I think. I'm taking responsibility. I'm going to dominate life. And so when you get into that position, if you get your mind wrapped around being the life dominator, that you are not handing out any more of your power to anyone else, that you're going to take responsibility and let it sit on your shoulders, you're going to see some great things happen in this year. Your life is getting ready to change. If you take ownership of it and you move in it and you walk in it, your life is getting ready to change in a big time way. I'm telling you this. I'll give you one example. I'll shut this down. My life, one of the things I did, right, in life, one of the things I've accomplished, and it started off, I'm going to show you how it started. It started off with a legal pad, just like this. So I keep a lot of these legal pads. So what happened was I was in a situation, right, where I wanted to accomplish something in life. I wanted to do something in life. I had a dream. I had taught in a school for a couple of years, and one of the parents told me, they said, Mr. Shepard, you need to teach people to do what you do. I had helped her son out. He really brilliant kid. She told me, you need to teach people to do what you do. And I began sitting down, and I had been working on a vision when I was in college for a chain of 24-hour daycares. And so I had this vision written down, chain 24-hour daycares, and ultimately I just kind of tucked it away. And so I ended up going to this massage therapy school, and I got back to Philadelphia. I went to this massage therapy school in North Carolina, got back to Philadelphia, and I ended up teaching in an elementary school. And I helped her son out, and she said, you need to teach people what you do. At the end of this year, I didn't know what I wasn't like a certified teacher, but I had a degree, so I was able to teach. So I was just teaching purely out of a place of passion and what I wish school was when I was in school. So I was teaching out of this place of passion. I just like ripped up the classroom and I painted the lockers like rainbow colors, and I hung bamboo shades from the windows, and I just changed my little classroom. I changed it all around. Went and got some IKEA furniture, had a fish tank in there. So I made my classroom everything I wanted it to be, right? I let the kids, just kind of do their thing. Like, you can take your shoes off. We're going to treat this like home. So I made my classroom environment look like home. I had a desk. It was on wheels because I didn't want to be the centerpiece and the focus of the class. I wanted to be able to get to the students. So I would roll my desk around to them, and I was student centered. I was focused on them. Long story short, we go through the year. We have a great year. Had a lot of challenging students with a lot of different developmental levels in education, and it was cool because we worked it out. I met them where they were. But this one particular mom said, "You need to teach people to do what you do," and I heard it. I heard something. I said, "Okay." And so I had taken the vision that I had, my 24-hour daycare, and I said, this 24-hour daycare, if kids were to leave this 24-hour daycare, they're going to need to go into an elementary school. So I took a yellow pad just like this, and I began to write. I began to write vision for a school, for what I dreamed school to be, the very best, ideas that I dreamed. I was just writing them down, just free flowing, big and as great as they could possibly be, right? Then, a little while later, I guess it was probably about a year or more later, I was approached. Someone said, I had talking to people about it and telling them about my dream. They said, "Brian, don't you have a vision for a school?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And they said, "Can we see it?" So I got it all together and I showed it to them. And before long, this dream that I had built on a piece of paper was being built. It was being funded. I mean, to the tune of over $16 million being funded. It started with just a piece of paper and the responsibility for guarding my mind, for guarding my thoughts, because I heard someone say something that was good for my soil. And then I took responsibility for dreaming and for what I could do, for my thoughts, for my actions. And I started putting it down, started writing it, and started writing it all down. But let me tell you something. Here's the crazy part about this. I was writing it, dreaming. It was getting built. And by all accounts, I was poor. No, I was like literally poor according to the statistics. As I was married, I had a few children, and the economics that were coming in, the money that I was generating was so low that I was living below the poverty line. And a banker in one of our meetings told me this. She didn't tell me this about me. We were just talking. Like we were having a business meeting, and one of the bankers said, if a family that has like 4 children and they're making less than $30,000 a year, they are by all accounts living below the poverty line. I'm sitting in this meeting, signing my name, on documents, and I'm like, she's talking about me. She doesn't even know. She doesn't know that according to her standards, a poor person has just written the vision that they're giving more than $16 million to. Let me tell you, when you take the weight of responsibility that sits upon your shoulders and you begin moving with it, it won't materialize simply because you have all the finances and resources available in your pocket. No. See, when you start taking the responsibility on you, then other things around you begin to work. Things in, the situations around you begin to open up. But you have to do your part. You have to take the responsibility. And I watched as this building was being constructed. I watched as the technology started coming in. I watched as the administrative team started to be built. And as I was hiring staff, all of this, and I was considered poor. How does a poor person get to the table with these bankers that are signing off for millions of dollars? How does a poor person get to the table with government officials that are writing laws and things like that for things to happen in education? How does a poor person get there? Let me tell you, it was vision and carrying the weight of responsibility that sat upon my shoulders that allowed me into the atmosphere. It was not my personal bank account. It's not your situation that's keeping you from moving forward. It's what you're doing with the responsibility that's on your shoulders. If you are not shouldering the responsibility and taking your power and moving into it with authority as if you already own it, you're missing out. See, when I began writing on this piece of paper, not this one, but when I began writing on my tablet, I began owning the vision that was in me. And the more I wrote, the more real it became. The more I wrote, I would just write and it was getting more and more real. And as I wrote, the more things would come to life and I just began writing some more and I was writing some more. And I wrote down things. I said, in the hallway, in the main hallway, when you walk down the main hallway, we're going to have it line like a street is because that way we can bring the outside, we're going to bring the mentality of the outside world inside the school. And guess what? When that building was built, right down the main street of the building, it was lined and striped to look just like a roadway. Vision. Vision. Let me tell you something. If you shoulder the weight and responsibility of your vision, you will come into contact with provision. See, vision always precedes provision. Vision. Provision, meaning for, pro meaning for. The resources that are for vision are needed once you develop and cultivate and shoulder the responsibility of vision. So move into it. Move into your vision. Not because you have all the resources, but because you believe, but because you want to shoulder the responsibility. And then you walk into it by faith, just believing and doing the work. And you're saying, it's going to happen for me. This is going to happen. I'm going to see this happen. I'm going to manifest this. I'm working in this. I'm being faithful to this. This is going to happen. I'm going to have the marriage that I desire to have. I'm going to have the business that I desire to have. I'm going to have that degree that I desire to have. I'm going to have this. I'm working in this. I'm shouldering the responsibility of this. I might stumble along the way, but I'm going to stumble my way forward. I'm moving into this. I'm telling you, it'll happen. And this is the time to prepare. Getting ready to hit a fresh new year, new calendar. You might as well take it and make it your year. Like, no apologies. These last few days of 2020, these are the days to get your mind absolutely right to say, I'm moving into next year and I'm about to dominate that thing. I'm dominating next year. I'm going to dominate the next years of my life. I'm moving forward. I'm a dominator. I dominate life. Life, I'm so tired of life beating me up. I'm moving into a position of dominating life. I'm not going to be walking around depressed, letting life beat me up anymore. It's time for you to start making some dominant declarations. Like, no, I dominate. So I'm going to make a declaration. And as you do it, you're going to see your life change. But you have to be faithful to the responsibilities that rest upon your shoulders. Hey, let's pray. And then you all go and do what I dominate life people do. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for all your blessings. Thank you for each one that's here. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the visions that reside within each one of us, that are treasures within these earthen vessels. I thank you because as we look at life and as we see the opportunities before us, we recognize that there is responsibility that is sitting upon our shoulders. And it's time for us to do some work. It's time for us to embrace the power that we have and not shy away from it and not outsource it or give it away to someone else. It is time for us to become the victorious people that we are meant to be, walking and operating in power. We're built for it. You built us and designed us to be powerful beings, to be representations of you in this earth. And so without apology, we're moving forward to make an impact in this world, to touch the lives of others so that this world may be enriched by the gift that we are here to serve. Help us to be servant leaders, leading with grace, leading with love, leading with compassion and empathy for one another, leading with visions and hearts that see those that are in need. Help us to be mindful of those that are around us. Help us to be attentive to those that are around us, and help us to be aggressive in serving this world, the very best of ourselves. We thank you for these things. We pray for miracles in the lives of those that have been going through all types of hell. Pray for miracles. I pray that something would change for all that they've been through, all the struggles that they've been enduring. I pray that they would see miracles. I pray that they would step into a new day of refreshing and being renewed. Thank you for that. I pray that you would encourage our hearts and strengthen us to be bold and courageous as we move forward. And I pray for peace that surpasses all understanding for anyone whose heart is not rested and uneasy at this time. Give us peace. Allow us to rest. Refresh us and renew us so that we may go forward and be fires and flame in the world. We thank you for these things. Amen. I appreciate you all being here. If there are any questions, we can open it up. And thank you, Mimi. ask any questions if you have anything related to that. Wife enables our boys. She makes excuses for them and keeps them boys instead of growing into men. She takes away their accountability and they all resent me. That's a tough spot, right? That's a tough spot because it's, as you stated, you're wanting to establish a standard, and and sometimes being the standard bearer is the one that oftentimes can be looked at as being the negative, as being the heavy, right? And so Mark, one of the things I think that when it comes to that, I mean, honestly, it's rough because standards divide people, right? Because when once you set a standard and you say, okay, this is what the standard is, people choose to operate in it or they choose to walk away from it. And it can be very challenging. I think one of the opportunities that you may have is in conversation, in game planning, in strategizing, to perhaps sit down and, just really have like an open conversation to talk about, what talk about your mindset. Be able to share why, why you are the way that you are, why you think the way that you think. Not trying to be heavy on them in that particular moment, but simply being open, right? Having just a conversation to say, look, this is why. This is why dad is the way that he is. This is why I think the way that I think. This is why I think this is important. And then perhaps allowing as a family roundtable or family talk to allow others to, just to have their input and to be able to hear. Again, we're strategizing this thing we call love. And so often um, we live life around people, but we don't necessarily engage one another. And we all have feelings, we all have thoughts, we all have experiences, and we all have perspectives. And so as we look at being able to gain perspective, you being a leader, right? Being a leader in your home, being able to gain perspective of why, the others in your community, your family unit, why, what is it that they see, or what is it that they hear, what is it that they're pushing back against? And so starting to have those dialogues, perhaps, I know as an athlete, we had in football, we had huddles, in baseball, during the game, there would be times that we would meet in the dugout, or sometimes we would have to meet at the mound. And so those in practice, we would have, position groups and sessions. So perhaps there are opportunities for you to begin um, even with your wife, having conversation and dialogue with your wife, just you and her, and really setting it up like strategically. Say, all right, honey, can we talk about specifically about this, right? We're not going to run all over and talk about a whole lot of things. Can we talk about this particular topic? I would like to hear from you. I think when we approach someone and saying that we want to hear from them, then oftentimes it disarms them because it's putting us in the position where we're being quiet and they're not nervous about being jumped on, right? So that's, you know, I think those are some of the opportunities that we have because the issue is not the issue is not your family. The issue is, they're not the target. The target is standards. We want to build and develop standards. So the issue is with the standards that are being carried out, not your family. And so I think opening up, um, trying to warm up the your atmosphere to having dialogue, non-threatening, non, just very calm, laid back, easygoing conversations where you're not pushing too hard. I think that can definitely open up some opportunities to hear so that we can move forward in growing and developing, strengthening the relationships. Thanks for that, Mark. Let's see. Anybody else have one? Yeah, it's good. I brought a friend this time. Say hi to Keith. Keith, what's happening? Thank you for being here. Mark, thank you for bringing Keith and adding to the family. I definitely appreciate it. We're able to grow together as we share with one another. Such a wise lesson tonight. Timeless message that reminds us all of our own responsibilities. Thank you, Susie. I appreciate you. You're welcome. I'm glad that you're here. You know, it's awesome that we get to have this time together. That these technologies can bring us all together. Um, I think sometimes we look at the R word and it's seen as so negative, but the joy. I think there's a great amount of joy that can be found in being responsible, right? And we talked a few days ago about you know response able, the ability to actually respond and how we can respond. So I think responsibilities are they're really powerful aspect of life that we get to do something with. And I just know for me, there was times when I was giving that power away when I was the victim. But once you change that and you say, no, 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 I'm not the victim. I just wasn't operating in power. Now I'm going to do something with the power that I have and move forward. So that's a great thing. All right. Well, getting ready to set up, another week. First responders. Yeah, that's that's such a cool thought, Jessica. That you know, the first responders. When we look at, there's so many terms in life that we use or that we hear used that give us, if we slow down and really hear them, there's some really interesting aspects of the duties and the jobs that are associated with the terms that we use. When we think first responders, we think the ones that are getting on the scene to help in a situation of chaos, or they're coming to bring calm, or they're coming to bring order. A first responder. We don't think of someone being a threat or someone doing harm. We think of someone bringing life-giving actions. Right? That's what we get to be in our relationships. That's what we get to be for our vision. That's what we get to be. We get to be first responders. Like, oh yeah, we are first on the scene to enhance and enrich the environment. And so I think where we get to develop our lives and strengthen our lives. I know some first responders, some EMTs, and I think about the training. They train in order to be able to serve when the situations happen. And so they practice being able to answer the calls of chaos. It's pretty cool when you think about it. Like, that's amazing. Like, this person, they're strategizing to be the one that responds when things are going just crazy. When there's high stress, they're responding. And so I think we can learn something. We can learn to be those first responders that in our relationships, to be the ones that bring order and chaos and calm and healing. That can We're the ones that can stop the bleeding. I was looking at some tourniquets the other day online and just looking to build some personal first aid kits, and just looking at different tools that would stop the bleeding. Sometimes we just need to stop the bleeding in our relationships, and as first responders, as leaders in love, tactical leaders, we get to do that. So thank you all for sharing your insights, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic week of talking about vision and what to do from the beginning, at that beginning place of vision. So if you are a part of K Mayo, thank you so much. Um, if you're a part of TikTok, or if you're a part of the Relation Fit Farms Facebook group, then we'll be on all week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Lord willing, and we'll be moving forward, developing our mindsets and strengthening and our approaches to leading and being effective in the days to come, moving forward in vision. So, all right, Keith, thanks. I appreciate that, Keith. So now I know K Mayo is Keith. Thanks, Mark. So we're gonna move forward. We're attacked this year. I'm telling you, my expectation for this year is to see so much of you, so many of you grow and develop and see your dreams and your visions be brought to life. and be realized. I'm looking for that. This is going to be a big time year. And I think this community and this family that we have, I think we're going to produce on a high level this year. So I'm really expecting some great things from everyone. So I hope that you are preparing yourself, thinking through it, strategizing it, building yourself up, and getting ready, because we're gonna attack this year and really make some things happen. So I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate you all. I'm B.A. Shepherd, two P's, ARD, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. I love you. Good night. See ya.